What's going on, everyone? This is BMT coming at you again. I want to talk with you guys over something close and personal to me. I had a discussion, and there were tears shed and words spoken. And I'm doing this subscriber request. It'll be up for a while before I move it on. But I wanted to talk with y'all about something that I had with a good young man and a good young woman. And the discussion that I had with them was on the premise of, is the home worth fighting for? And as I talk with the individual, and thank you, Kelly, I thought back to when I first started my first household. And it's a beautiful thing. It's an ever fighting endeavor. Everyone doesn't start at the same pace. Everyone doesn't have the same grace, same amount of income. Everyone doesn't have the same type of aptitude. And as time went on, and as I learned, I felt. And I want to first start off and talk to a lot of you young men and understand that you are going to have to be strong. I want all you men to understand it, all you men. And I'm not sunning you. I'm not talking to you like you're young or like you're incompetent or that you're less than or anything. I'm talking y'all from one man to another man with my heart out towards y'all. That's why I put up that thumbnail. I put up that sensitive thumbnail of me when I first started out. Granted, I didn't start out with what I have today. I didn't start out with the knowledge I had today. I didn't start out with the gifts. I didn't start out with the experience. But I knew that at some point that life starts with me. And that I would have to try. And I had days. I could tell y'all right now, from the tears coming from my face, that I had days, y'all, where I so wanted to walk out of that door. I so wanted to stop. I so wanted to just say, yo, this is just too hard. But I understood that the lives that I held within my hands, it's a responsibility. And you have to be strong. Not just for you, but for those around you. I don't have time to do the what if game. I'm not doing the hypotheticals. I listen, man. I didn't even get involved with no kind of like social media and all this foolishness like y'all keep talking. All I knew was my children and my wife and all those around me were depending on me. And I had some days where we went through hard times. And yes, sometimes it may not be the ideal situation. There will be days when you look in your bank account and it may not look so hot. There may be days where you and that significant other, y'all may not get along. I can tell you right now, my first priority and my only priority is my home. That is my collective. And so like I said, like that's why I said I know that I'm of a different elk. I didn't always have the ideal situation. I know what it's like to work two jobs. I know what it's like to be a military father. I know what it's like to get into arguments with your spouse. You're behind sleeping on the couch. She's crying in the bedroom. I have been there, done that, and did my time. It's not easy, but it is your fight. No one else can fight it for you. When you give up the home front, you lose everything. I'm at peace with that, and that is so true. How are y'all talking about reparations, but you don't want to talk about family? How y'all keep on talking about submission, but you don't even want to submit to a home? You know how many times I had days where I'm about to eat a sandwich that I haven't eaten all day, and my boys would crawl up, right? I would just hear them patter around me, and I'm like, How did they get to me so fast? All they can do is cry and crawl, and them little hands will reach up and pull up on my pants to get to my plate. What's going on, Rob? What's going on, brother Rob? And I would chew up the piece of bread or meat and put it in their mouth and watch them laugh and giggle. And I'm like, man, I haven't eaten all day and this is my sandwich. But that is the stoicism of being a self-sacrificing individual in the home. When you want to eat, they all shall eat. When one suffers, we all suffer. Thank you for the super chat. Why we keep trying to tell our people to leave their home? Why are we trying to tell them to run out there in the streets? Ain't we got enough people out there in the street dying, fighting and scrapping and surviving? Y'all gotta understand, man. Like, I'm really emotional about this because this is not something listen, man. I do this, man. Y'all talking about getting money and resources in the business. I gotta be real with you, man. That was my greatest ambition. It's not easy. And I've had days, man. I tell a lot of you young brothers, man. Don't let no man or woman talk you out of your home. Don't let nobody fool you up that you are higher than any and everyone else in your home because you're a man. I grabbed that brother by the shirt and said, "Why would you talk down on the person that bears your children?" It will be a cold day in hell before I ever, 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 ever get on social media and demonize my children's mother for y'all entertainment. I would rather die before I ever give you dogs that opportunity. Now I see it where men and women run on social media and demonize their home for the sheer little coins to give to a social media that you will never own. I listen, man. Sometimes, yeah. Listen, bro. I can tell you right now. I've been in that raggy trailer. I know what it's like to go get welfare and food stamps. And that is true. We didn't always have money like that. And I know some of y'all want to say, that sounds like struggle. No, that's called endearment. That's called I got you, you got me. And so long as we got each other, that's all we need. And I remember we would chant that to each other when we would sit in the bathtub. We would take showers. We would bathe together. We would try to consolidate water. Listen, man, I'm trying to let y'all know, man, from a humble man. Listen, bro, like I'm showing y'all me. I know what it's like to go around asking for jobs, doing what you need to do to make sure your family eats. You understand, man? Like, that was my peace. What you got going on now is people are just getting around or just sexually gratifying each other, but they're not building a home. They're just around each other, but they're not building a home. Ask that woman what you see in me. And what do you see that alongside with you that I can be? And men, you ask that woman and you tell her what you see in her. And look her in her eyes. Speak power and life into her. Speak life into her womb. Not just try to have sex with it, but speak life into her. Tell her what you would like to see, what y'all envision each other to be. And yes, you will have days. You're going to have days. But it's going to be up to you to keep on pressing on and fighting. It's going to be up to y'all to press on and fight. Now, let me talk to y'all young women and some of y'all older women. Don't ever think that you need to do it alone by yourself. One of the biggest things, and let me turn it on my camera for y'all. Turn off the music. I want to talk with y'all. But I had to sit her down. And I had to deal with her spirit. She said, I don't need a man. I could do it all by myself. And I said, so you would rather leave from dealing with the man that you are building a home with, a life with, and run out there to the streets to answer to somebody else and have to learn and be under somebody else's system. She said, well, I ain't gonna be under nobody's system. I said, but where are you going? You going back to live with your mama? You gonna stay up with your sister? You gonna live in a hotel? I said, you let some of these young girls and older women sugar talk you away from your man. Why? Because he ain't making bread like that? Because he ain't balling like that? She's saying, well, I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? He's always angry. He's always busy. I said, baby girl. See, I know nobody taught you this. Y'all are only 2 years in the game. 2 years, 4 months in the game. That's child's play to me. What is 2 years to a lifetime? I said, you got women that are marking you to join them and have nothing. It's not easy. It's not. I know there's women that had the raise. Shout out to Kelly. But is it the ideal situation? No. Because regardless of whether you want to admit or not, that child is going to go without. They are. That child is going to ask about that other anomaly that is of itself. You think a check can cover that? Food? Putting nice clothing on it, on that child? Bringing another man? No. I say he's maybe not the ideal man, but you can help build that brother to be a better man. She said, how do I do that? Put your hand on him. Can you reach him? Can you reach him, baby? And as she put that hand on his back. She began to cry. I said, that's your source of power. As long as you keep your hand on him, when he goes out there in that world, and you support and push him, you help push him through the storm. Because see, when you're going through a sandstorm, I'm not sure if you've ever been to a sandstorm, they really hurt. And they're always got rocks and little micro granite that's cutting you up. But one thing we used to have it where we tethered together and we would push the first guy through. So long as we pushed him through, he could make it. And if he made it through, we all made it through. I said, y'all need a detox from the foolishness. What you gonna do? Run to go? I mean, I get it if you want to go get some food stamps. I'll take you down there. They're gonna circumference his amount of his wage and what you make. So you'll get WIC. You got your WIC already, and you're trying to get your food stamps. I get it. See, when times get hard, that's when you start to see people start to dissipate. Because people, you're afraid. You're afraid to have life kick you behind. You're afraid to have it where people look at you. That ain't no badge of honor. I watched my mama struggle. I watched my dad get angry and go outside and scream and holler. And I've had my days. So has Melissa. But this foolishness that we're seeing going on now, when y'all are perceiving, like when y'all talk about, and I said it on somebody's chat, Nick Cannon don't represent my household. Neither does any political affiliation. Neither does anybody outside. I am my own. Because I stand on my own. I finance my own. I feed my own. And I had them write that down and put that like a doggone prayer on the wall. So whenever they get up, I said, every morning, y'all repeat that to each other. Set small goals to make the big goals. I gotta drink my coffee, my heart pounding. You ain't gonna always get along. I can tell you that. True. By force, not choice, while taking care of my parents and other children I didn't birth. I'm burned out for real. That's so cool. Still trying. It burns you out mentally and spiritually. And what we're seeing now is a lot of the younger generation, they want a family. A lot of the younger generation, they want a family. I told the brother, you don't want no other man to claim your girl, right? He said, yes, sir. You done laid up with her, put 2 children in her, and literally y'all got a place. Y'all been together for that long. They were like, yeah. So why didn't you marry him? And why didn't you marry her? Well, we didn't think it'd be important. I said, wait, y'all didn't think getting married wasn't important? I said, why won't you claim her as your woman in front of the world? Why? See, that's the thing about it. Y'all talk about y'all can live together and do X, Y, and Z together, but y'all don't want to claim each other. I don't get y'all. I don't get this new mindset that you say you for me, you say you represent me, but you don't claim me. And don't be coming to me with that spirituality, we get married through. No. Why don't you want to claim me? And see, that's with any place in the world. Why don't you claim me? Why don't you accept me? There's power in the name. But you don't want, I asked him, do you want a home? Do you want a home? He's like, yes. Yes, sir. How much do you love her? So are you willing to die for your home? He said, excuse me? I asked you a question. Are you willing to die for your home? He said, yes, sir. I looked at that young lady. She said, you don't have to ask me twice. She grabbed his hand. She said, I will die for you. I will bear your children. I just want to believe in you. And I want you to believe in me. I said, if I could marry y'all right now, I would. We ain't got no witness. So just us three. I said, if y'all got mental health issues or stuff y'all going through, y'all gonna understand, man. I don't take social media serious if it ain't talking about family. If it ain't talking about building. The first policy is always your home. If my policy says you got to take off your shoes when you come to the house, that's my policy. That's my rules. How you talk about investing in a business if you can't invest in your own spouse or your mate? And I want you to understand this. Every day is not going to be it's not going to be an easy day. Every day's not going to be an easy day. My mom and dad got divorced. They did. But never at that one time has my father never told me not to get married. My mom, she's been married 3 times. She married my father twice. She married my brother, my brother's father. And then after that, she married her husband now. And my mom said, how can I talk to my daughters and my granddaughters and talk to them about what it means to be a woman if I have a man sleeping in my bed and he's not my man? And I'm not talking about my man, somebody I shack up with and we live under the same roof. That's a roommate. That's a roommate. My man and my husband are 2 different things. Husband, man. Husband is you being claimed by a person where they are literally taking liability over you. If you as a man were to get harmed or hurt, your wife will claim liable responsibility for you. The courts will call you. The hospital will call you. The mortician will call you. The school will call you. Do you see how this goes? Vice versa for the husband. If something happens to your mate, nobody calls the baby daddy. Nobody calls the baby mama. It's hard. You could put them down on the paperwork at a school. And I hear a lot of y'all say paperwork makes the difference. No, it doesn't. Because in the eyes of the court, you could have been shacking up and laying down and dating that person for 22 years. I married them and been married to them for a week. I outweigh you. You've been with them for 22 years. I'm married to them for 1 week. I literally have more say-so over them than you will ever have. Because I went and legally claimed that person. It's ownership. The first ownership is in your marriage. Y'all didn't know that, did y'all? You're literally having ownership. That's why you got to pay for a marriage. You got to pay for that. I know some of y'all have never sat there and did that. But why do y'all think that it was such a big legal deal to get married? Y'all never, some of y'all never been through that. When it comes to talking about children, that will always be the forever enduring debate. They're not here. Not on social media. Most of the men that I know that are literally taking care of their home, the children, it is what it is. I made it. It's my job. I made my children. My father made me and his children. For a long time, I've been there and watched it grow, cultivate responsibly. You can leave out the home if you want to go. You can go ahead. Y'all could try to use all the corners third, but how are you gonna tell me? And I've been doing this for so long. That's why whenever it comes to having the logical conversation, let's be honest. Nobody who's getting married I have ever seen came to any of these people online to talk to them about marriage. I got emails full. I've done married off 9 people. Well, first advice: go. Don't tell people your business on social media. Because everybody and everything, they don't got no skin in the game like that. Because they're not willing to put it on the line. Somebody asked a question about comparing the people on social media to real life marriage. What's going on, cool, gent? That's true. And I enjoy talking with Bambino. I have to be honest and say that my son has been turned off a family due to how he'd been treated by women. I couldn't believe what he showed me. No wonder marriage rates are low. Can't stop that. I can't. That's one him. That's fine. I always tell people, if you don't want a family, go get snipped. You don't want children, go get scooped. Why beat around the bush? I don't talk to people. I literally don't ever. When people tell me, whenever we have about the family conversation, I always ask their resume first. And if their resume don't stack up to what I'm doing, then literally we have nothing really to talk about. That's just mind-boggling to me. I've been talking to men and women that literally don't even want to build, but then they want to talk to me about reparations. How does that work? How does that work? Reparations is for family and nation building. You do know that, right? Information man, let me know if I'm wrong. Reparations is for family and nation building. That's the predominant setup of why you talk about reparations. Why you talk about all y'all talks on YouTube have literally been circular around talking about me. So why y'all bring up reparations? Why y'all bring up anything about country, nation, God, family, building, Planned Parenthood, anything about literacy, abortions, and all that stuff? If you can't talk about family, let alone you can't even have the simple discussion. But if you can't go to that length, because that's the first thing I'm gonna say. What are you planning on doing? Because my understanding is this: I will die. Let me show you something. Let me grab. Let me grab something for y'all. Let me grab something. Let me grab something for y'all. Let me grab something for y'all. I'm gonna grab something. I want to grab something for y'all. Where is he at? Where is he at? Where is he at? There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, let me show y'all something. Here you go. Here you go, info. If you want to come on up, info. Like I said, I'm doing a subscriber request, but I'm also I'm trying to go through. I'm not going to be too long, but I still have the hour of power, and I'm not about to waste all my voice. She left over, I probably say a good 90 acres of land. She's old. She's small. She's tired. She has more liable right to ask about reparations than anybody else I have seen from where she came from. She speaks more of the old dead language than anybody than you will ever meet. Next in line would be him. Then after him would be me. Then after me would be them. Understand? Do y'all not see the connection of power? It has to flow from the family down to the children. See, I can stand on my heritage land. I understand. Y'all can't talk about, and that's the thing about it. I told him. I said, look, yes, keep bringing up the white, the Hispanic man, this and that. We all this. I don't see color. I don't see this. The hell with all of y'all talking points. Because literally, if you ain't talking about family, you don't got shit to talk to me about. You just don't. You don't. And he can be an asshole when he wants to be. But that's my father. And he said one thing. He said, boy, don't you ever let nobody run you out the damn home. Y'all don't know shit about me. Y'all don't. You like to think y'all do, but you don't. But some of y'all ain't willing to put it all on the line. You're just not. Family is a long-term investment where you put everything on the line. You both have to invest. You both have to invest. See, there's rich, and then there's called legacy rich. Legacy rich or legacy wealth is literally the longevity that you have made a substantial gain. That way, the next family member that comes after you literally can step into where you left off at and keep it running. So if we started off in a rickety below base level, and I'm thankful because I had a runner beside me. Y'all don't want, do y'all make the people around y'all put in investment in time and effort and work? If y'all want to deal with girls and men and women out there in the streets, go ahead. That's the quality of family you get. You like running through females? That's what you get. You get run through. You get clowned. You get called dusty. But you want to run through the dirt. I don't feel bad for these dudes when they tell their stories about these women that use them. You wanted to go out there and play in the streets. There's always a better player out there in the streets than you. There's always one. So I don't feel bad when I hear y'all say stupid stuff. I'm like, where were you at? Oh, man, I was hanging out there, man. What about your grandpa? Grandpa ain't worth shit. Just granny. Easy. Grandpa was murdered. Any other questions, David? Anything else? Grandpa was murdered. Anybody else? Want to bring up anything else? Huh? See how you read into that? I knew one of y'all gonna do some dumb shit. I was waiting for one of y'all to take the bait. Huh? Huh? Anything else you got to say, David? Huh? You had to ask. Now you look dumb as fuck. Now you look dumb as fuck. Congratulations, sir. See, I just told you she came through she came from that era where they could kill a black man. Why do you think I told y'all and hinted to y'all she came through? Killing a black man in broad daylight wasn't shit. Oh, guess what? One of them was a deputy. I wanted to go to trial. Now I'm not. I don't listen. Like I said, I knew one of y'all was gonna say some stupid shit. What about the grandpa? Well, the grandpa was killed. What's next? Huh? Back then, they had no problem killing you black men. Back then, they like to jump y'all and beat y'all and kill y'all right there in the streets or in the swamp while y'all were going home, back home to your family. Back then, they had no problem raping your women, and the men knew about the women getting raped, but they couldn't do nothing about it or take it to court because guess what? The system was so fucked up. So any more questions? Y'all want to know any more stuff? Huh? Any more? She had to work the land by herself with her children because the grandfather was dead. Got strung up with the horse, and they beat him. They beat him. They beat in his skull. And they left him up there for 2 days. So y'all want to know what? So y'all want to know any more stuff about why? Anything else y'all want to know? Why do you think I told y'all she came through it all? If somebody left out a certain part, they probably left it out for a reason. I know y'all looking for why we're happened to the grandpa. That's one of the things about it. Having a family made you an even bigger target back in the day. Did you know that? Because you couldn't. If you had a family, I didn't have to get you. I can go kill your family. Why? You said his story need to be told, then that would mean I would want the police, law enforcement to literally answer for that. Think about that. I would want the police, law enforcement to answer for that. You got to understand. My daddy always told me the first line of power you're ever going to receive is your home. It's going to always be your home. Because at your home, it's the only place where you feel that you actually can be at peace. You can actually have say so. Outside in the world, you only run so much of a zip code, and that's probably to your mailbox if you're paying your dues. So when I tell somebody, and I mean to snap off at David, but it's just like I'm trying to let y'all know, man, this is not about no male and female shit. This is literally about y'all. I don't think some of y'all fight as hard for the home like that. I could give a fuck what these women out here in the street that want to run the street. They're not my women. If you're out there in the street running the streets, you're not my woman. If you want to be on social media hollering and screaming and looking all kind of stupid and clunkly and stupid, you're not my. Same thing for the men. If you brothers don't care about family, if you don't care about building, you're not my men. I don't claim you. I don't care if you claim me. Shit, I don't need y'all. Motherfuckers, y'all don't pay me like that. Everything I teach my kids how to hunt, cook, fish, do everything that they need to do. I will never send my children on YouTube to learn how to be a man. I will never have to send my daughters on social media to come to me with the talking points of what they talk about now. Nowadays, y'all got people running with certain movements, putting on hats and shit, trying to belong to certain flags and colors and proclamations and stuff. You know what that tells me? You don't have no home. That's what that tells me. You don't have no home. When you're clout chasing somebody out here in the streets, that means you don't have no home. That is true. A lot of here's the thing about it, and that is true. I could talk about that, cool gent. My grandmother was raped twice. My grandmother was raped twice. I had many of the men in my family killed. I still joined the military. I still was a good citizen. It just was a different time. Back in the day, you wanted the strength in numbers because you didn't know when your time was up. Nowadays, you don't know today, to this day, what's going to happen. It's not easy. It's really not. Before y'all men talk about women, find somebody that you are willing to invest in. And ladies, before y'all start talking about men, it was a time, bro. It was the times. Everything wasn't sweet. 1940s, 1950s. You just had to be wrong place, wrong time. Wrong place, wrong time. Understand that. Y'all gotta understand, man. Like I told that young couple, you can't talk about changing the community, the nation, if you ain't willing to look at the family. The people that were fighting back then, they understood that where we're going, everyone's not going to make it. But the thing about it is, you got to understand, man. If I was Info's son, right? He's not going to fully finish the journey. No man is going to truly finish their journey. There is a small marginal jump of men. When you're trying to move from the lower poverty level to the middle class, and hopefully you might someday touch upper class or rich, there's going to be sacrifices. And so you understand it's done generationally. Info will probably, with him, mama, they'll probably make it out of the poverty class and work hard into the middle class. And we hear these stories, mom and dad didn't have this, they were arguing and stuff. That's because they were battling out of one poverty level into the next poverty level. Into the next level. And mind you, middle class is shrinking up drastically. There's not much of the middle class left. So from there, it would get passed off to me, BMT. But what's been happening is, because I watch Pop, Information Man, struggle and fight and go through all the discomforts, the family model is now a negative systemic image to me. Because I'm seeing it as, Dad, you didn't do nothing. I don't feel like I received anything. All you and mama did is fight and argue. But now, guess what? But Dad's looking at you as an old man. He said, son, you were poor. You have a job. You have middle class. You have more access than I will ever have. You can now do something. You have more open doors than I have. Don't waste it. Don't waste it. But what you got going on is some people want to live the self-gratification and selfishly say, you know what? My life is just my life. Not the building of a nation, of a family life, but more of my life. So I'm going to waste my life and try to sell y'all my dream onto another person who is trying to build a nation to say, hey, pick me up along the way. No, you don't get to do that. You don't. I didn't want to take it up everything. Information man, let me know if you're there. I'll pass it on to you, brother.
Yeah, I'm here, brother. I was listening to what you were saying. The most important thing that you said, to really put it where it needs to be, is you said that the basis is family. That is what reparations is really all about. Is about it's what is owed to the black family because it was a family structure which was destroyed and dismantled in this system to separate the black man from the black woman and the black woman from the black man to pit us against each other. One of the things I think someone in the chat room had made some statements that really got under your skin there. And I have to say that that's because we don't have a good sense of history. That's one of our biggest problems. I see that on YouTube a lot, that a lot of guys are talking, but they have no frame of reference to understand history and how history plays a role into where we are today. And what you're seeing is this assault on the whole idea of family because, well, maybe because your father or your mother or something happened in your particular childhood that has turned you against the concept of marriage and family, which is why you've got guys going around saying, well, you're a simp if you get married, you're this and that, which everything starts with the family structure 100%. And I don't think that people really understand what that means. Now, you made a beautiful statement where you showed the picture and you said that the grandma has more connections to that culture, to the reparations, and that what you said that was very important is that when you are married, that person has legal standard over you. Now, and vice versa. A lot of these dudes on these platforms that talk all this individualism, who think they're going to fly to other countries and find them a hot little thing, and these are dudes, this is just my prediction, these are cats, some of them, that are going to end up as old men by themselves and bitter because they've never took the time after they had all their fun smutting out all the women that they can get with, listening to all these date gurus, have all their fun, but at the end of the day, when they croak and die tomorrow, who will have legal standing over them to make sure they get proper burial, make sure that their memory stays alive? Because you got guys on YouTube telling brothers you don't need to reproduce, or get you a surrogate, get you a this and that, all this nonsense. You got to think about your legacy as you get older. I think AC Alan Curry, he just got married. I saw his
Yeah,
ring on.
shout out to Alan Curry.
Yeah, I just saw his ring on his finger on his IG. So let's say brother Alan Curry, he had his fun and enjoyed his single life. But at some point as you get older, you do need that steady companion. This isn't about worshiping the woman and putting her above you. It's just that as we get older, gentlemen, you either want to be this old dude all by yourself, like Ebenezer Scrooge, or you want to be a man who builds a army like BMT. Look at that. Look at that. That's what it's all about. These children will carry on BMT's name. They will carry on his legacy and all that he has taught them. When they have children, their children will grow up to learn about brother BMT because he is leading a foundation. That's what it's really all about. Who wants to be on a goddamn picture by themselves with no legacy saying, well, I fucked all the women, I had all the fun, and then they're standing in a picture by themselves with no family, no nothing, zero, nilch. And when your ass is gone, everybody will forget about you. There's no one to carry on your legacy. This is why family is important. Most of you in the chat room wouldn't be here if it was not for a man and woman coming together at some point in time. And even if it was dysfunctional, even if, like, for example, my father and mother were married when I was a child. There were problems. They got a divorce. I knew who my father was. I have two brothers and a sister from his second marriage. I can go back home and connect with my family. So I wasn't left completely into the wilderness because nobody asked how they come into the world. But this thing called family is not going to stop. It's going to continue. People are going to get married. People are going to have offspring. And no guru or anybody on YouTube talking in the dust of the wind is going to stop it, period, because it is the basics of life. I'll stop there, BMT.
I wanna, I want y'all to understand this. That I always hear a lot, and um, shout out to Alan Roger Curry. May your family grow exponentially. You know what I'm saying, brother? Um, there is no book, no internet channel, there's nothing in there, and me and Info could tell you for how to run a household. Each one is a case by case. And you'll learn. You'll have to learn and try by error. And I tell you right now, I've had to step up and be that man and take care of my children, take care of my mother, and take care of my unborn child. Listen, bro, I had it where we just popped out one baby, and she woke up one day and slapped me right in my head when I was laying in the bed. She said, "Joe, I'm pregnant again." And I'm like, "What? You just pushed out a baby just not even a year ago." But you know what? That baby was still coming. And I still had to work, and I still had to build.
Right.
And I had to understand that, guess what? Ain't nobody come. Listen, like I try to tell y'all want to understand your first form of power. Build your home.
Right.
Build your home. Like nobody can tell Info how to run his home but him. Nobody can tell you how to run your home but you. When y'all not in these homes, men and women, you're liable to run the risk. You're liable to run the risk of foreign agencies that are willing to do whatever they can to run you out. And
Right.
and that's what I'm saying. Like, they like hearing us talk about, you know what? The family is dead. Family is dead. But I'm like, then who am I? Who's Info? Like, I mean, I didn't always have, but you know what? That's the point of building. When you're building and you're having somebody by your side that's willing to build with you, and y'all put it down together, all this other talk of stuff going on, it's not going to, it won't matter. It really don't, because literally that person, they're not going to call youtube.com or this or that.com. They're going to call you and say, "Babe, how do we do this? Hey, baby, can you make this, or can you I pass it over to my brother on this one, man, because it's an infuriating talk sometimes."
Right. BMT, let me ask you a few questions.
Go ahead.
Because Brother David in the chat room is talking about, well, back in the day, the grandmama got married, and you didn't have the courts and all the other things that got involved with breaking up the family. Let me just tell him through history, that's not true. Even back when black people got married, back during the 40s, 50s, you had social organizations that were doing everything that they could to break up family structures, black family structures. Even Malcolm X in his autobiography talked about how he felt that the social work systems of this country did more to do destruction in his family as they have done to other black families. So that's not true. This has been going on for a long time. But a family is as strong as its weakest link. You, as the man who is supposed to be the leader of your family, you cannot allow anyone to come between you, your wife, and your marriage. Now, this is the reality. We know that nowadays that family court is in the favor of women. I will not deny that. But this is what I noticed, BMT. Tell me if I'm wrong or right. What I notice about guys, especially on YouTube, who talk about the family court situation, when you ask them very simple questions like, did you vet the woman that you married to see where her mind is? Because a lot of times guys get involved with women because they got a big booty, they look good, but they never think about, well, where's their mind and their heart and their spirit at? They didn't take time to vet them. They got caught up in the physical beauty of the woman. Then it's not until they put a baby in a woman that they find out the woman is really crazy and they're not compatible. So that's the first basics. Two, and I talked to a lawyer about this with brother, what's that brother's name? It'll come to me. There was a lawyer that I was on a channel one night. There was a female who was a lawyer, and she said that there are things that you can do as a black man even prior to marriage to protect your assets, but you got to know the law. So my question to you, BMT, as I continue with this is, how many black men, before we even get married, see, because we have to look at ourselves, man. How many of us actually educate ourselves in knowing the law prior to getting married when it comes to this? How many of us?
Not a lot. Not a lot. And I had to learn. I had to learn it also. So a lot of men don't know the law.
And that's the problem.
Right.
That's the problem right there, is that we don't learn the law until it's too late and we're backed in a corner. Know the law as a man and what is your rights and what you can do to prevent certain things from happening. Another thing that I've said many times on YouTube is that when you if you go through a divorce, a lot of times the mistake that men make is that we sit back and we allow the woman to strike while the iron is hot. What do I mean by that? We'll allow her to go to court and serve us with the goddamn divorce papers. So now she's playing from a position of strength over us, and then all of a sudden she gets full custody of the child because either we don't strike to get 50-50 custody, or we don't go to get full custody of the child, or we think, well, I'm going to be able to get out of this one. And once you sit back passively as a man and allow that to happen, now you allow the courts to make decisions for you because you didn't go to court, you didn't take measures to get some control equally. In my situation, when I went through my divorce, my wife and I had a conversation. Now, the reason why I was able to have this conversation, and I'm not saying that I'm any special to any brother in the chat room or anybody listening, is that one, I picked a woman that I got married initially to that I could have a conversation with. We had a woman that was intelligent. We could have intelligent conversation, analyze this. Even prior to me getting married, BMT, we both talked about if things go wrong, what is our contingency plan? And we had it all spelled out. A lot of brothers don't do that. So when we went to the divorce, I said, boom, I'm getting 50-50 custody, period. So when we went into the divorce, it was already documented because I took command, and she didn't give me pushback too because she wanted me in the life of my daughter. So that just means that I was lucky in my situation. I know it's worse for some other guys, but no matter what her attitude is, I took control by making sure I had a say-so in something. So as a result of having 50-50 custody, she can't dictate to me A, B, and C. You got to do this. You can't see your daughter this. No, I have equal right and access. A lot of the brothers that I notice on YouTube in particular who complain about these things, when you ask them these very simple questions, what power do you have, brother? Did you go to court? Nah, I didn't go to court. Do you got 50-50 custody? Nah, she got full custody. Did you prepare anything prior to getting married? Well, I thought she was the right one. So when you listen to brothers give you that that's the problem right there. What do you think?
Yes, that is true. A lot of from what I'm seeing, a lot of men they're not doing proper contingency plans. And this is one of the stakes of being a man. And this is why having that father or having that older person you talk with and they teach you, and you also advocates, you learn. See, I had to learn. So when I went to the hospital and they were asking me, hey, if y'all want such and such or certain housing or certain stuff. And we're like, oh, snap, we get a free house? Yeah, yeah. And the bills will be lowered. It sounds so good. I'm not gonna lie, 250. I was like, oh my gosh, 250. We got to get on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, oh no, you can't sign. She has to sign.
Right.
I was like, what? I was like, she has to sign. Let me read that paperwork.
Right.
And they're like, sir, that's for her. No, I'm her husband, so I need to read it also. Right. And like, oh, you're married. Thank you.
Right.
Oh hell no, this is housing. I'm like, that would mean I'm cut out. Right. Y'all have to read these things. But literally, you're walking into burning buildings, and you're right, Info. A lot of these, they don't do the contingency plan.
Right. J.I. said, I got to read some things that J.I. said in the chat room, which he makes some good points. J.I. says, if I got to do all of that, then just don't get married. Sounds like going into a fight. Then J.I. says, skip the divorce and don't get married. But see, this is what you missed what I said.
That is literally.
Yeah, he makes a point that appears to sound good and strong, but this is where I have to remind everybody again. It shouldn't have to be. This is what it goes through. This is what it's about. From my experience, most of the brothers, and I've known a lot of brothers that have gotten divorced, what do they all have had in common is that they all had realized that they married the wrong woman. They got caught up in the illusion of the female, and it did not take enough time to really vet that female. So I'm not saying that you're supposed to be in a fight, but think about it. Marriage, this is the mistake that everybody makes, and you may agree with me, BMT. Everybody thinks that marriage is about love and lovey-dovey. That's bullshit. Marriage is a business. It's a contract between you and that woman, a covenant contract under God, of course. So therefore, when you go into something like that as a man, and we know as men, we have a lot to lose, maybe more than women. So if you're going to get married, I'm not saying everybody should get married, but if you're going to get married, you should at least take the time to vet the woman that you may potentially marry, and then prepare yourself. You hope for the best, but you prepare for the worst in terms of protecting yourself. Women do it all the time. Women do it all the time. Women are always looking at what's going to happen if my husband died. They're looking at assets, right? You get married. What do you leave behind to your family? So either way, you've got to go into it with the right type of mindset. Some of us will marry women who are on the same page with us, who ain't about trying to bullshit us over. But if you do get a divorce, you're concerned about protecting your assets, then the best way to do it is to get 50-50 custody, if not full custody. If you're not prepared to do that, then like J.I. said, don't get married. We're not setting up here saying that every man should get married, but if you are going to venture into that system.
Well, here's the thing about it. I want to say this. If y'all brothers and sisters are saying don't get married, why y'all keep talking about family?
Right.
Well, I never understood that. If y'all talking about what's the point of getting married, then why y'all keep talking about family? It's something that you ain't gonna ever do. But you just, I guess it's like something like you just like to look through the window into my house. I mean, I know some of y'all ain't gonna never do it. So I don't know. I mean, honestly, there's nothing for us to really talk about. That's why I'm like, I don't really waste my time talking with certain people. Like bringing up the dynamic of the family to me is foreign language. Like most positions of power or certain seats, when you start moving up in the ladder, most of those people, men and women, they have a family. They have a family. So no matter what, y'all talking about power, let's be for real. You're not talking about power if you're not including family. Right. I mean, y'all can do whatever y'all want to do. I really don't care anymore. Like I told that young couple, was they're back. He has his man, he has his woman. She has her. She, like I said, y'all still trying to get somebody back in the bedroom.
Right.
They ain't worrying about that. They don't have to worry about that. Y'all, good luck, man. Good luck.
Look. Let me just read something here. David Moore. He said, "Custody isn't just giving. Other is a given. Otherwise, it would be standard law and not something you gotta fight for. This is the deal. Let me make it plain and simple. See,
No, that's not
a
true.
lot of times you have guys talking about something that they don't know what they're talking about because they've never been married. They've never had an experience of being responsible for a family, but they're the biggest ones talking on YouTube, which I find very interesting. Let me just say this. It goes like this. When I went through my divorce, if I had the mindset of, you know what, I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. You do what you want to do, woman. Guess what? If I just would have slept on that, then my ex-wife would have gotten full custody, which means she could have demanded more money of me in child support. It could have screwed me over in many ways. All I simply did was say, I want 50-50 custody. We went through lawyers. I signed documents. And to be quite honest, going back to my decision to marry the woman that I did, it was exactly what she wanted anyway. We had already agreed prior to marriage that we wanted to be dual parents if we were to get a divorce. We had these conversations. So if I had been a knucklehead and just sat back and didn't give a damn about my child and just said, I'm gonna go out here and fuck everything that's moving and be irresponsible and don't give a damn, then yes, I would have gotten screwed up in family court, big time. And then I would be one of these guys on YouTube crying 7 days a week about the family court system. And don't get me wrong, the family court system is screwed up. But you know who can change that? The majority of the people who make the laws in this country are men. The majority of the men who are getting screwed are us, men. Why don't we create a coalition and a movement as men across the board to put pressure on these politicians to change the family court
Well,
laws?
here's the thing about that, and I can answer to that. Uh, Majority of the men that are making those laws, they have families. I thought that was very funny. Majority of them, they have families, so they're like, as a man, you literally, you know what I'm saying, you literally can set up and petition what you want. Like I like
No,
I did like Info did. I sat down with Melissa and we talked about our goals, our our high points of what we want to see in the home,
right.
the what ifs. If listen, and I'm gonna tell you, we had our time where we separated, but
Now,
we understood that. Guess what? Them four kids still got to eat,
right.
still got to get to school, still need clothes, still need things appropriately done, regardless of whatever happens on the first of the month. Of course, wasn't making me do that. I was doing that. I was kicking out $1,600 to make sure that they had. When her vehicle went down, she wasn't calling the other man. She called me.
Right. Let me just say this real quick. David Moore.
David gonna say all kinds of dumb shit. David is
David,
gonna say all kinds of dumb
Da-
shit. You
Da-
gonna waste time with him.
David has wax in his ear. He's saying that otherwise that I didn't have to fight for it because my wife gave it to me. What did I just said? I made it very clear in the beginning, before getting married and after, that I wanted 50-50 custody and I was getting it. And then I also said that I had to sit down with lawyers and sign documents and push my agenda to make sure that was facts.
I told you, I don't know why y'all are talking to people that have no skin in the game. This is what y'all gonna get frustrated about. Listen. I listen. As many people that I've taken down there to those courts, you have it where before y'all even see a judge, there's somebody called a mediator.
Right. That's what I had to say.
Somebody called I want y'all to understand this. But see, this is why some of y'all, I know y'all never been there before. You have somebody called a mediator.
Right.
Your lawyer and their lawyer will sit down in a room with the mediator. And y'all literally can draw out everything down the line of what y'all expect and what y'all want to see. Who's doing this? What's doing that? You take the child to the barbershop. You get the child on the weekends, holidays. Y'all do all of that. right in that one little cubicle room right outside of the courthouse. Then by that time, when y'all finally come down to a conclusion, if possible, you will submit that to the judge. The judge will literally ask y'all, did y'all come to a consensual agreement? Look at both lawyers. Yes. Yes. Okay then. Well, everything's good. Best of luck to y'all. Congratulations. You literally just formed your own deal. No judge involved. But however, some of y'all do not know the law of how to do that. See, this is why it's called business-minded talk and information man. You literally should be going to the people that actually know the business part and the informational part of how it works before y'all start talking. Stop going to these rambling fools that get on with bitterment because they didn't know what the hell they were talking about. It always blows my mind. It blows my mind. Like, literally, y'all didn't even know how to hash out your own deal.
Right.
So you screwed your own self. You screwed yourself.
BMT, you took the words out of my mouth. That's exactly what I went through. We had a mediator, and I got everything. Matter of fact, I can go in my drawers right now, and I can pull out a thick legal document that has everything in there that I'm supposed to get as a man. How much I'm paying a month, how I, all that is laid out. Because why? We were with a mediator. So when someone like David, for example, says that I sort of got what I got because the woman gave it to me, he doesn't understand. What did I just say earlier? A lot of us, some of us as black men don't know the law because she didn't give me anything. I started off saying that, yeah, I didn't have a struggle with her because I actually got lucky and met a woman in college where we talked about these things. Now, I said that. I laid that out, and I said that a lot of times we meet women, these women that are attractive, and we don't examine their mind and what their mindset is before we marry them sometimes. So I had to sit down with a mediator. Matter of fact, let me tell you, this is my own personal business I'm putting out here right now. Let me tell you what happened. During my process, do you know that the lawyers told me and my ex-wife that they had never remembered having a case like this where both parties were so animal with each other, that we weren't drama all out. They were shocked by it. I was calm. She was calm. I signed the documents. I did make certain demands on what I wanted. So to guys like David who make those statements, who I probably have underwear older than him, he has a lot to learn. It doesn't go that way. This is what I'm saying. If you as a man don't go through this, don't go about having a mediator and doing these things, then you will get screwed. I'm willing to bet there's a lot of guys who have gotten screwed and did not make sure that they had representation, did not take the measures into their own hand, and until they got hit with that heavy economic burden of the high court's child support. Then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I can't make it. I can't pay this. I can't pay that. I'm behind. All those sort of things. So you're absolutely right. You go through a mediator in some cases. In my case, we had that. And we worked everything out, and I got everything in my legal document that backs my play. Therefore, I have not been screwed by the family court system because I took things into my hands as well.
So somebody asks us a question. I want to make sure I read it. Somebody says, there we go. BMT, are you saying that we should know the law? Yeah, actually you should. And I actually encourage you. That was something that me and my wife did. We went down to the welfare office and literally actually asked questions. You literally can do that. You can actually call them on the phone and ask them. They will literally, it's free public information. You don't even have to guess. Like literally, let's say you have a partner in the house that makes $1,000, right? You're cut out of getting certain beneficiary stuff. Versus if you have a two-parent household, it's going to be harder to prove that you can get certain access. Another said thing about retaining a lawyer, or you can, because if you don't know if you want to know your rights on certain stuff, and literally it covers you and it covers them. Back then in the day, it was kind of clear cut. Like, I want you to understand this. Since y'all were like bringing it back in the day, as a man, if you had made a family and you came up lacking, you do know that literally they were going to get that money out of you. Right. They were going to get that money out of you. There wasn't no, well, back in the day, well, the community kind of dealt with you, and it wasn't very pretty. Like, I want you to understand this. This one guy dragged his wife and children out to move in his mistress. She went down, told the church that literally her and her children were out. The church went down there,
right,
to the house and dragged him out and kicked him out of the town. Y'all want that law back? I mean, hey, we can bring it back. There's gonna be a lot of homeless men.
Right. Let me just say this. Let me just say this. Once again, David, listening is. I
told y'all, don't even. David is a troll.
I know he's a troll. I'm just gonna say this. Didn't I just say, yeah, I did use the word luck. I did use that word, yes. But didn't I just say quite a few times that I took the time to vet the woman that I married to see where her mind was, right? So I did say that quite a bit. And then to the other brother that's in the other brother that's in the chat who says what you just said, should we get a lawyer? Look, if you're going through a divorce and you want to make sure, because black men, we talk about this all the time on YouTube, and you want to make sure that you don't get raped over the coals, then of course you should get a mediator. Of course you should get representation, or you should sit down in mediation if there's drama between you and that woman, and hammer out a situation where you don't get raked over the coals. But like I said before, if you don't do anything, black man at all, and you leave it up to the woman to have all the power and control legally, then you are going to get things coming down the pipeline that you don't like because you didn't take any measures on your side. And let's get this right. There are couples out there that are married and are doing well, and then there are people that are not doing well. So before we make marriage into this negative, there are people that have been married for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And did they go through some ups and downs? Yes, yep. They'll tell you. But they're together. Then there are people who probably should have never gotten married, or people who got married to the wrong woman, wrong man, whatever, and things go wrong. That's just the way life is. For example, I have not gotten remarried myself personally because I didn't want to be one of those people who bounce from one marriage to another. Now, if I get married again, it's going to take a hell of a lot for me to get married. And yeah, brother Dreads, yes, in California, the woman can get half of the assets because that's the law in California.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I said in the beginning, you have to understand the laws in your state. I'll give you a perfect example. I knew my wife had a female friend. She got married. They got married, but they got a divorce in Seattle, Washington. This is a true story. He made more money than her, right? Uh-huh. They got a divorce. You would have thought that she was going to rake him over the coals. She didn't. In Seattle, the laws favor men more so than the women. Do you know he got her to pay him child support? And he worked for Microsoft. He was the bigger breadwinner, and he got custody of his daughter. And he made her life a living hell because he utilized the laws in Seattle at her disadvantage because she didn't do certain things legally to protect herself as well. So you have to know the laws. There are certain laws in certain states that favor men versus favoring women. So when everybody says that everything favors women, you better do your research and understand the laws in each state. Now BMT, am I right or wrong about understanding the laws of each state?
No, that's true. There are states that have laws that favor men. I'm surprised y'all men that want that power don't go there, just go there and just live there. But again, they don't read. Another thing about it is, and this is something I noticed with some people. A lot of y'all don't sit down and have these conversations with that person. I know y'all like to talk about submission and all kind of stuff and sexuality and money and what my role is, your role, but y'all don't see these type of conversations where y'all talk about. I used to always like to do the where your mind is at game. And when you do the where your mind is at game, you start asking the tangible stuff. Whereas I would ask Miss BMT, hey, so if I don't have a job, what are you going to do? Mr. BMT would have to answer what I would and what I need to do. She would have to answer what she needs to do. It's trial by fire. And I've had this happen. And I agree with Omega. You got to ask questions, not just about, what are you wearing? But see, this is why I say it's called you making investments. A lot of people don't make tangible investments within these people. Are you going to school? Are you doing this? What are you doing for a job? How are you doing? What are you doing to build yourself up? See, when you start asking these things when it comes to fight, see, the fight is more so real because y'all have been building up your fort for so long. That's not something you're just going to just give away. And we're not just talking about pushing out babies. I'm talking about actual things y'all two have been doing. So literally, even if it don't work, you're not going to spit upon the fort that y'all have built. Because y'all going to be like, yo, man, like we done work hard and did all X, Y, and Z. And so when it comes down to that, that's something that needs to be very much so had. Very much so. Y'all like to bring up South America. Most of the men that I know that are from there, they work over 40 hours. Right. They work over 40 hours. While the woman and the children are literally busy maintaining the home while the man is working. Now we're not saying that we don't have brothers that aren't doing that. But when y'all talking about that, y'all want to go down there to that type of culture. And I said, y'all talking about going down there. And I mean, that's your choice. Understand. They don't want nothing less than that. You either, unless you're dealing with something less than that type of woman that's for building out. See, you know what I be hearing? Men and women are looking for that what's out there in the streets. That is the sexual IG appeal, not the cultural household building appeal. Because see, the household maintaining, that type of guy, he has to live by a designed schedule. I get up, I go to work, I have X, Y, and Z to do. I have to be accountable for what I do. My money is not for me to go spend on foolish things. I have, before you even touch your check, it's automatically going straight towards the home front. Same thing for the woman. Before you even talk about getting your nails and your feet done, you're going to make sure that the groceries, the light bill, and I'm telling you right now, I've always been the predominantly breadwinner in the home. So I know what it's like to sometimes look at my check, look at my bank account, and I'm like, dang, I just had money in here. I'm already broke. I'm already, dang, I got $200 to my name. I got to make it work. But hold up now. I'm not alone. Because see, I have a mate. And if you have a applicable mate that is building with you, I'm not. Because when they get paid, babe, it's okay. You pay for the bulk of the bills. That's your job. So I'll make sure I make up the difference on whatever else you got to pay. And then from there, the rest we just pocket. You see how that worked? Where it's not so much I'm struggling alone. I have somebody after I done fought the first battle. You know what I'm saying? Because I never talked about 50-50. I never talked about I pay half the bills, you pay half the bills. But I want to be the man of the house. I want to be the head of the house. But then listen, half the light bill, we're going to split half, the mortgage in half, this and have. I'm like, are y'all trying to be roommates?
Right.
Like, how y'all doing this? How is this even working?
Right. But see, we got to remember there's a mentality. There's the American mentality, and then there's the mentality of people who live overseas. So if you got a woman in South America, let's say Brazil, because everybody talks about Brazil, and I know a thing or two about Brazil. I've got family over there.
Right.
A lot of these guys from the United States go over there.
Yes, sir.
To Brazil to get with the women over there. But my thing is, if you're a musty, dusty, and crusty dude in America, you're going to bring the same mentality to South America. Those women over there are used to men being real men. That means that they're used to men taking care of them, putting them in a. So all these guys talk about in America about how, oh, you shouldn't worship women and you shouldn't do this and that. I get it. But guess what? The women in those countries are used to men taking care of them. And in turn, they take care of you. So the women over there are not used to like how American women are, where American women are like, I'm independent, I'm going to work. So if we're in America where you're used to a situation where you have a woman that's paying 50-50 with you, like you just said, but now you have a foreign woman who's like, what do you mean I'm going to work? Okay. In my country, the man takes care of everything. Now, the bigger question is, are the brothers here in America up to the task of doing that? Because a lot of times when you hear brothers talking about leaving the matrix of America and going over to Brazil, it sounds to me like it's a sex vacation. Everything is about sex. I don't hear anybody talking about marriage or anything of that nature. It seems like they're trying to take advantage of their American passport to attract the women over there that they can't get here in America, because the women over there see them as one big giant passport. And because they're American, that woman may think, hey, you know, as a chance that I can get married to this guy or whatever, and he'll bring me to the States. So you got to ask yourself, what are you really accomplishing? And I said this to O'Shea Duke Jackson on his channel, and he thought the question was very profound. If all the women that brothers run into across other countries are so special compared to women in America, then why is it that the men of those cultures haven't married them up yet? So the women that you're running, so you go to Brazil, for example, you run into the honeys over there, and you tell brothers in America, man, these women treat you a certain way. Oh my God, man, it ain't like America. The question you got to ask, if those women are all of that in a bag of cookies, why haven't the men in Brazil married them up? I got this on inside information. Cousins over there, most of the women in Brazil that are, because in Brazil, that's a culture just like other cultures where it's about family, and they usually get married. I've got friends from Brazil as well, family over there as well. They usually get married. The women that you find that are not married at a certain age tend to be what we would call the bottom of the totem pole of that culture. And the reason why they haven't been married, BMT, in some cases, is that the men in Brazil who speak their language, know the culture, don't want to marry those women because they are the, what's the word we use for it in America? They're the thoughts. They're the thoughts of Brazil. And so what happens is black men go to Brazil from America, they meet these attractive thoughts, and the thoughts are treating them like they're kings because they're American. Keep it real with you. My cousin told me this. He's from Brazil. He said, man, these American dudes don't know what they're dealing with. Some of these women over here that they're meeting are just using them as well to get what they can get out of them as well. Some of these women are sleeping with other dudes. Sometimes they'll get married to you. You bring them to America, and they've got their real boyfriend over there. And once they get rid of you, they bring their real boyfriend over to the States. So there's all kind of games that they even run over there across seas.
Wow.
Right? And that's the fundamental question. Why are those women not married when they're in a culture that promotes marriage? And then you got Negroes in America on YouTube talking up all this Colombia, Dominican Republic and all of that, in countries where the men that live there don't even marry those women up. Now, until somebody can answer that question for me, then you gotta shut your mouth because you don't know what you're talking about unless you talk to men who live in those countries that can tell you what the real deal is.
You know, one of the things about it that one thing about it that I always and I gotta tell y'all, like, majority of the women for the time I've been traveling around the world, if they're worth their weight in salt, you're not gonna have access to. They're never gonna allow somebody foreign to have access to the natural resources of that group. I want you to understand that because that's a part of their culture, their nation. They're not going to just allow somebody um, to take that. And when I say that, I'm being very honest. Like that's why when y'all like to talk about masculinity and talk and femininity and different stuff like that, but within your home, you could be that. You could be masculine in your home. She could be a feminine in her home. She could be a nurturer. You could be a builder. You see, it sounds hard for men because men, that's one of your predominant functions is to build. And when it comes to that of a female, her job is to nurture. You're trying to compare your job as a builder to that as a nurturer. You know what I'm saying? And I got to tell you, man, like that's why I say, well, women got it easy. Well, bro, you're a man. What's going on, Queen Maya? You are a man. I have never compared my struggles as a man to that of a woman. But I walk a different path. Thank you, love. Like I walk a different path. So I understand that my works are going to be of laboring. That literally, you gotta understand that my job and my honor bound duty is first towards that of the self building and upkeep of that home. And then from there, and I want you to understand it. Listen, I didn't grow up in an ideal home. I didn't always grow up in an ideal home. I didn't. But as time went, I had a focus of what I wanted. I did. And so I kept working, and I kept busting my ass, and I kept building. I did. And finally, now, granted, I'm not the oldest. I'm not. But because I am where I am today, literally, I have a whole nation now. Hang on, let me see. All of this. This is my whole nation. Whenever something happens, all these phone calls, all these people call me. From women to children, I have to be accountable. And the thing about it is, I don't run from it. I don't. I own every thorn, blister, heel. See, that's the thing about that's one of the most amazing things. When you get old and you get to watch everything you done built, and it looks back at you, and you say, you know what, my time in the field, I'm done. I'm done, info. Because at the end of the day, I could hold my head up high and say that I maybe didn't affect the world, but I affected all these men, all these children, all of them. And that literally I can honestly say that they'll be all right. And I'm fine with that. I'm at peace with that.
And so if you listen to someone on YouTube telling you, men, don't build a family, stay alone, work on your money. Look, automatically as a man, you should work on your money, your success, you should work on building yourself up. That is true. I give that 110%. But if that's all you do, then you're going to leave this earth with no legacy left behind but an empty bag. So who wants to be an old dude? I'm going to say it again. Who wants to be an old dude in a picture by yourself? Just you by yourself because you didn't create anything.
Oh, I see a lot of those pictures. I can tell you right now, I could tell you right now, I see a lot of those pictures of a lot of these guys trying to stunt, floss, tell all the stuff. But as they start getting older, Lordy Lord, do
Well,
I start hearing them cry and complain and hope that CNA or whoever's watching them does right by them and
right.
don't leave them sitting in their own crap and filth and shit.
Right. I mean,
I ain't got time for that.
our man AC just got married. I'm going to say it again. And this is the brother that gives tips on the dating game and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, this is for all the brothers that are on YouTube. Do you want to be an old dude with all you got to show for it is yourself by yourself in a goddamn YouTube channel?
Hell no,
So
no.
you in a photograph talking about, I didn't build nothing. I made some money. I did this. I fucked a lot of women, but I produced no children. I produced no legacy, but I got a YouTube channel. I'm 74 years old. Can you please subscribe? All right.
Info, you ain't right for that. It's y'all got. I want y'all to understand this, man, and I think that's the thing about it. Like when y'all talk about power, and I want y'all to really understand that when y'all talk about power, I want you to understand that a lot of this stuff, and I want you to understand a lot. As I travel the world, one thing remained fundamental. People made families. Their families became villages. Their villages became bigger villages that became nations. And so I understood the bedrock of that one said universal truth. You have to build, but you can't do it thinking that you're going to make it alone. And I'm telling you right now, man, it's a long endurance. I know some of y'all say, well, if I got to do this and I got to do that, then I don't want a family. And then I'm trying to let y'all know, man, like, good luck. I mean, I am no longer at all. And I would tell any man and any woman, stop trying to convince people to get married and be honest folks and literally walk up there. I am no, stop. That is just one less person in humanity that we have to deal with. Because when their life burns out, and it will, then when they say that they finish putting up their store, nobody will say or speak their name. Nobody will remember them. See, that is the one true tried blue thing about humanity. It's called the longevity game. And the game does not last throughout the era. It's not for the remember. It's for those that you touch and impact. Unless you made something worldwide, which, no offense, a lot of y'all don't do or impact on, then guess what? You are going to fade out. You're going to. But I don't have to worry about that. Neither does info. Neither do those of us who are building a family. Like I said, I'm now on the school board. I go there, and that was one thing about it that that's one thing I won when I dealt with the courts and stuff. And I talked to a lot of people about. You have to, as a man, you can't just say, I just like to lay on top of her, but you don't want nothing to do with the influence of the community around you. Go around. You got to understand, a lot of these entities, they're going to influence your children. So would you not want to be in the epic center? When the last time y'all rode with y'all kid to school and talk with them? Walk down the hallways. Talk to their friends. Meet up with their friend's family and y'all have dinner. When the last time y'all talked? Not about sex, but literally about life, philosophy, theories, building, history, the meanings of respect and honor. You're not having those conversations. Those are the groundwork principles that you are overlooking. And because you're not doing that, you will fade out. But of course, that is the main reason why I told that young man and that young sister why the home is worth fighting for. They understand it. They understand it. These people out there in the street, it's all good. So that's my answer. I have to get ready. I got a few more minutes for the hour of power. Queen Maya, I got to email you. Mario, I haven't seen you in a while. Much love to everyone. What's going on, undergrad, under, you know what I'm saying? Underground Steez. Information, man. Today's going to be it's going to be an interesting day. We're going to be talking about North Carolina. If you want to say something before we ride out, brother.
No, I'm about to get off here and let you prepare for your program. I want to thank you once again for letting me come on board and talk about this issue. And once again, family is the base. Family is the basics.
Info? I guess we can't hear. But I want y'all to understand that for men and women. I'm going to go more in depth about that. I'm going to go more in depth about that today's Hour Power. We're going to be talking a lot about building. And we're going to be talking about some reforms. So I'll see y'all guys. I'm probably going to try to see if I can get a call-in number for that. I'll see y'all guys. I'm BMT. Peace. Y'all have a good day. See y'all later.